What the fuck? Hi, it's Randy from Armagh Guitars, and welcome to the fourth episode of the Soma build. We got to finish up the neck on this episode, so we're going to work on the headstock. We're going to hopefully carve the neck and install some frets. So starting off, one of the major concerns I have working with this particular piece of wenge is avoiding tear out. One of the things I've been noticing as I've been working with it is this piece has got a little bit more tear out than other pieces that I've worked with, and so that's one of my major concerns this time around. It's also one of the reasons why I ended up pre-drilling the tuner holes, because I figured that when I route it, that will keep the chances of tear out a lot lower. So I really need to make a template for this, but I figured 2 sticks would do the job, and it did actually. So besides the fact that I'm really happy with the design of this headstock, I have to say it's really a lot of fun to build. I still haven't nailed all the little nuances, and that's going to take a little bit of time, and that's probably why I haven't really built any set of serious templates yet. But it's really fun. It's just the hand tools, it's a bit involved, and yet it's involved in a way that I kind of sort of enjoy. I think that's the thing about building anything. There's different procedures or different tools that we all like to use, and I think whenever you're designing something or planning a build, you should always kind of sort of center on your strengths and the things that you actually like to do. So, I probably should have cut more of that on film, but just a lot of sanding and a lot of stuff. I grinded this stuff a little bit too much over here, and I wound up running into the truss rod, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not fatal. And seems okay. It needs some cleaning up, and that needs some cleaning up as well. But for the most part, it's looking pretty good. And so with that on the way, it's over to the bandsaw so we can start working on the neck. So I'm actually going for a slightly thinner profile than I normally do. I usually like somewhere between 21 and 22 millimeters at the nut, up to about 24 at the heel. But I think this one I'm going to try to go down to about 20 millimeters at the first fret to about 23 at the heel. So this is where I get a little bit more precise with that. It's at this stage that I try to make sure that everything is more or less within a millimeter or two of what the final thickness is that I'm looking for. Once I've established that down the center line, then I basically make sure not to touch the center line until the very end when I'm finalizing the neck. I find I get much more consistent results as to the dimensions that I'm looking for if I do it this way. By the way, if anybody has any suggestions for a decent spoke shave at a decent price, let me know in the comments. While this one is serviceable, I think it's time for an upgrade. So I find it interesting how everyone has their own way of carving a neck. I tend to be a little bit schizophrenic with it. I'll work on the headstock, and then I'll work on the heel, then I'll work on the shaft, and then I'll work on the heel again, then the headstock, and I kind of sort of close in on it gradually. So I don't know how long it takes other builders to make a neck, but it takes me the better part of a day. And even though it's one of the most involved and in time and effort processes of building a guitar, it's still my favorite. I don't know what it is. There's just something really transportive about it. Anyway, I'm not going to make you sit through the entire carve, but enjoy the montage. So we've got it mostly carved up. Um, Lots of details to be worked out and stuff, but it's a little bit. I think it's just about right. I'll hone it in a little bit more. She really does have some beautiful lines. Time to install some frets. So this is my first time installing steel frets, and after having had done this, I can say it actually is a bit different. One of the things that I've read is that you don't have to overbend the fret wire, and I will admit it does make me a little bit queasy, but it seemed to have worked out in the end. So Stu Mac may be a little bit expensive, but you got to give it to them. They do make really good tools. These fret tank snippers worked really, really well with this steel and cut through them like butter. My intention here is to actually backfill the grooves with ebony dust and maybe conceal that usual line of the fret tang that you end up seeing. It's my first time trying that as well. One of the things I did notice immediately was that it was getting very difficult to get these frets to sit. And that might be because the kerf on my saw is just not wide enough for this particular fret size. So it was off to the drill press in order to get these things pressed in and seated properly. Are you fucking kidding me? So in this week's installment of Break Your Tools, of Blaming Your Tools, I seem to have had broken the mount on my table. Yeah, it's in 3 pieces now. Get what you pay for in life, right? Bye. Well, hello there. What's your name? So after a quick trip to the home store, it was back to pressing frets. I wonder, do other people break tools as often as I do? I feel like I break a tool per episode. This is quickly becoming unaffordable. So even though I didn't do a full fret dressing yet, just this part right here shows me that steel has earned its reputation. This took a lot longer to tame these fret ends than it normally would, and I get a feeling I am in for a bit of work. Well, that about does it for now. We're rounding the corner and heading towards the end here. So if you want to see how this turns out, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.